Pregame.com.
Welcome to Pregame.tv. I am Steve Fezzik here with Bryan Leonard. We're going to be breaking down some NBA action. Curious, we got the Spurs, that makes sense, and the Timberwolves. Not so much of a public team, but hey, we can make money off of it, Bryan. Let's talk about it, right?
Yeah, we've got to have some junky teams in our write-ups because we always seem to pick them every single week.
It really seems like the bad teams, there's oftentimes an angle that stays under the radar better than the good teams with what they're doing and stuff like that made you the two-time Cantor Showdown finalist back-to-back years. But that was football, and that's meaningless now because we're going to be talking basketball.
All right, sounds good.
Very good. What can you tell me about now the Spurs? They're heading on their annual rodeo trip. I did a little research on this. So since 2003, they go ahead and vacate. They head on out. I don't know if it's always during the NBA All-Star break, but I know that they have not had a losing rodeo trip during that entire time, and they went 8-1 last year. So when I first looked into this, I said, I might be a little bit concerned. You're packing all your bags. You're going to be gone for a long time. But they actually seem to, and I saw a quote from one of the players, they take this very seriously, that they're like, hey, we're all business. We're going for a long time. And it seems like they're the sort of team versus maybe a Miami type of team. If they had a rodeo, I can only imagine the trouble they might get into, right?
I can imagine many people in Miami going to a rodeo to start off with. But, yeah, it's great with San Antonio because they've always had such a veteran team. They've got one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the NBA. And, you know, we're a little bit early for this, but you mentioned the All-Star game. One of the things I like to look at coming into and out of the All-Star game is to play on these veteran type of teams. San Antonio's been there before. They know what they're going to do. You've got other teams, and we've talked about this in football, you know, throwing in the towel kind of thing, going on vacation kind of thing. You know, let's say they're playing the Washington Wizards or somebody like that right before the All-Star break. San Antonio's coming to play. Washington just wants a few days off.
Yeah, now they're playing the Minnesota Timberwolves here. Now, interesting schedule dynamic. We talk about throwing in the towel. Minnesota got a dysfunctional Lakers squad, came back all the way in the fourth quarter, almost won the game. And then they went ahead in their crib. They got New Orleans, who had just come from altitude in Utah, in Denver, and they had the Super Bowl the following night where they were just so eager to get back home. And VR and I talked about that last week, and you were in on those conversations, how we really wanted to fade these Pelicans like crazy the night before the Super Bowl. And they tagged the building and they went home, basically. And so Minnesota looked really good in that game. But I think that was more just about New Orleans playing horrible. And then they got Portland, and they got clobbered by Portland, but yet they had a miracle fourth quarter comeback. The final score looked really close when they really got decimated in the game. And I'm saying, boy, these T-Wolves sure look overvalued to me based upon those last three games.
Yeah, the game against New Orleans, you know, we talked about the situation. And then when they come out against Portland, I think it was built into the line that, they looked really good against New Orleans, because I was really surprised. Opened 3.5, and I said, I'm not even sure this team should be favored in this game because Minnesota right now, they've got a lot of injuries. They've not played well. They're starting to get some guys back a little bit, but we talked about this in the past where unless you have your entire crew with you, anytime you bring this guy in here, you lose this guy for a game, you bring another guy back, it's a lot of continuity issues in that regard.
Yeah, well, they might, they got Ricky Rubio back, but with Kevin Love out, and here's a team, talk about up and down. Their season win number started at 36. The public loved them. Everyone, the Sharps loved them, bet it up to 40, and then these injuries, and they started to crash back down, and now it may well be a team that does throw in the towel. So sounds like you can get behind me. You think, -6 for the Spurs? Depends if Duncan's going to play.
Yeah, 7 with Duncan, I think. You've got, the Spurs 10-game winning streak here coming into this game, playing really good ball. But my only concern is the Spurs seem to play up and down depending on who they're playing. You take a look at their last 7 games on the road. They've not won one of those games by more than 7 points. Don't want to lay too many points here. And Minnesota never beats San Antonio. It's one of those things. San Antonio owns them. I don't know which way to go on this one, but I know it's something that you're taking a look at.
Very good. Well, let me go ahead and make it official, and with a little reservation. We're going to make it official. We're going to take the San Antonio Spurs. I like the fact that he just got a 10-point win against Washington, a team that the perception is that they absolutely stink. But Washington, with Nene back, has been playing very well with John Wall. I think they take this rodeo trip very seriously. They had 4 days off to prepare. They want to get it off on the right start. I think this Minnesota T-Wolf team is going to be talking ping pong ball soon, not playoffs. And one of their local beat writers was talking about how ridiculous it was that they were talking about their playoff chances. We're going to lay the Spurs as long as we can lay a reasonable number, -7 or less, which we absolutely should get, and we'll be on the Spurs. And we're going to go ahead and talk on some college basketball and some NBA this week. When you return here at pregame.tv, we're going to go ahead and break down a Big 12 matchup, and should be a real good game with Baylor taking on Oklahoma State.